Yo, what's up gamers? So, I was just walking into the break room for 5 minutes, and the PlayStation in the corner is already having a crisis. It's auto-downloading something again, the storage warning is flashing like it's filing a complaint with management, and the Wi-Fi sounds like it's about to tap out. So I walk over to see what's going on, and sitting next to the controller is a printed PS Plus catalog list like somebody held a meeting about it and forgot to clean it up afterwards. Turns out Sony just updated PS Plus Extra and Premium coming on March 17th, adding 8 new games into the catalog. And the big headliner this time is Persona 5 Royale, which, if you've ever played it, is basically a 100-hour commitment disguised as a video game. But before we break this down, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you want more gaming drops like this, and tell me in the comments down below, is Persona 5 Royale actually worth 100 hours of your life? Alright, let's grab a mop and see what Sony just dropped into the break room March 2026. Alright, first up, the big headliner of this drop is Persona 5 Royale. And if you've never played it before, this game is basically an anime you live inside for the next 100 hours. You play as a high school student named Joker, who transfers to a Tokyo school after getting into trouble. During the day, the game is almost like a life simulator. You're going to class, studying for exam, working part-time jobs, hanging out with friends, and building relationships called confidence that actually make your character stronger. But the real twist happens when you and your friends become the Phantom Thieves. You sneak into a supernatural world called the Metaverse, where corrupt people have massive mind-bending dungeons called palaces, based on their twisted desires. Inside those palaces you solve puzzles, explore wild environments, and fight stylish turn-based battles using personas, which are powerful spirits you summon and fuse together to build your team. And the goal is to steal the villain's heart, forcing them to confess their crimes and change. Now, Persona 5 Royale is the definitive version of the game. It adds a brand new character, an entire extra semester of story, a new dungeon, new areas, and tons of gameplay improvements. So if you decide to jump in, you're looking at 70 to 80 hours for the main story, and easily 100 to 150 if you explore everything. Which is why this is easily the biggest value in this PS Plus drop. Honestly, this one game alone could keep the Breakroom PlayStation busy for the next month. Next up in the lineup is Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2. And this one is basically the pure action blockbuster of the drop. If you've never seen Warhammer before, the setting is simple. The year is 40,000, the galaxy is a nightmare, and the official models, basically everything, is constantly at war. You play as a Space Marine, which is a genetically engineered 9-foot-tall super soldier wearing armor the size of a refrigerator. And your job is simple: destroy everything threatening humanity. This time the main enemy is the Tyranids, a massive swarm of alien monsters that invade planets like a living plague. Gameplay is all about huge battles. You're blasting enemies with explosive boulders and plasma guns, then ripping them apart with chainsaws and brutal melee finishers. The game throws hundreds of enemies on screen at once, and carving through them feels incredible. Next up is Blasphemous 2, and this one is probably the darkest game in this entire lineup. This is a brutal 2D Souls-like Metroidvania set in a twisted religious nightmare world called Sevistovia. You play as the Penitent One, a silent warrior with a giant spiked helmet who basically exists to suffer his way through monsters, guilt, and horrifying miracles. And the art style is wild. Everything is hand-drawn pixel art, but it looks like a medieval painting from hell. Bleeding statues, giant flesh creatures, creepy saints, the whole world feels scarred and cursed at the same time. Gameplay mixes exploration and punishing combat. You travel through huge interconnected areas, unlock new abilities to reach hidden paths, and fight brutal bosses that will absolutely test your patience. This time you also get 3 different weapons, each with their own combat style and special abilities for platforming and puzzles. The story can take around 12 to 18 hours, but if you go for secrets and full completion, it can easily stretch past 30 hours. Next up is Astroneer, and this one is a chill sandbox explorer in the lineup. Instead of fighting monsters or saving the world, you're basically a space pioneer in the 25th century exploring colorful alien planets. Each planet is fully open to explore. You're driving rovers across the surface, flying between worlds, and digging deep underground caves looking for resources. And the coolest part is the terrain tool. You can literally reshape the planet however you want. Dig tunnels, flatten mountains, carve giant bases into the ground. The entire world becomes your building playground. Those resources you find are used to craft machines, weapons, power systems, and huge modular bases that you can keep expanding across the planet. There's also a light mystery running through the game, with ancient alien structures and strange technology scattered around the solar system. And there's no strict campaign here. You can explore at your own pace, build massive outposts, or just wander the planets with friends in co-op. Next up is The Lord of the Rings: Return to Moria, and this one is a survival crafting game in the lineup. It's set in the Middle Earth during the Fourth Age after Sauron's defeat, when the dwarves finally decide it's time to reclaim their legendary homeland, the Mines of Moria. You play as a dwarf explorer sent to help rebuild the kingdom, but things go wrong pretty quickly. You end up stranded deep inside the mines and have to fight your way forward while rebuilding the lost halls. The core gameplay is classic survival crafting. You're mining ore, stone, and gems, forging weapons and armor, building camps, and slowly expanding your outposts as you push deeper into the mountain. But Moria isn't empty. The tunnels are packed with orcs, goblins, trolls, and other nasty creatures that now live in the ruins, so you'll constantly be defending your bases while exploring new areas. You can play solo or with up to 8 players in co-op, which basically turns it into a giant dwarf mining expedition with your friends. Next up is Madden NFL 26, which is basically the sports anchor of this month's drop. This is the official NFL football simulation, meaning you're playing with all 32 real teams, real players, real stadiums, and the full NFL rule set. On the field, you're calling plays, throwing passes, running the ball, making tackles, and trying to out-strategize the other team, just like a real game on Sunday. But where a lot of people spend most of their time is franchise mode. That's where you control the team for multiple seasons, managing everything from the draft to trades, free agency, player development, and coaching decisions while trying to build a Super Bowl winning roster. There's also Ultimate Team, where you collect cards of NFL players and legends to build your own custom squad and compete in online challenges. So while some of these games in the lineup are giant RPG adventures or sandboxes, Madden is the one where the Breakroom suddenly turns into a Sunday football watch party. Next up is Metal Eden, and this one is kind of the wild card entry in the lineup. It's a fast-paced futuristic first-person shooter set in a massive orbital city called Mobius. In this universe, humanity tries to survive by uploading their conscious into devices called cores, and sending them to this giant space city that was supposed to become a new home. Problem is, the city turned into a death trap. You play as Asuka, an advanced combat android known as a hyper unit set on a mission to recover those trapped cores and figure out what went wrong with the mysterious Eden project. Gameplay is all about speed and firepower. You're blasting through waves of enemies, moving through neon cyberpunk environments, and uncovering the secrets behind the city's collapse while fighting security forces and rogue defenses. So while some of the games in this drop are huge RPGs or strategy epics, Metal Eden is the one that just throws you into a futuristic gunfight and tells you to survive. Finally, the premium tier is getting Tekken Dark Resurrection, and this one is probably the most controversial pick of the month. It's a classic 3D fighting game from the Tekken series, built around the King of Iron Fist tournament, where fighters all over the world enter to settle rivalries, chase power, or deal with the ongoing Mishima family drama. You can pick from over 30 characters, each with their own fighting style and story. Classic fighters like Jin, Kazuya, and Heihachi are here, along with characters like Nina Williams, Lily, and Dragunov. Matches are classic Tekken gameplay, one-on-one fights where you're using punches, kicks, combos, throws, and counters to outplay your opponent. The game includes arcade and story modes, where you fight through the tournament and unlock unique endings for each character. But here's where the controversy comes in. The version being added to PS Plus Premium is a PSP version of Dark Resurrection, not the arcade or console version some fans were hoping for. So while it's still a solid classic Tekken entry, some players were definitely expecting a bigger throwback for Premium this month, or at least a touch-up. So yeah, that's the 8 new games Sony just added to PS Plus Extra and Premium, dropping on March 17th. You've got a massive JRPG with Persona 5 Royale, big action with Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2, dark indie punishment with Blasphemous 2, sandbox exploration in Astroneer, survival crafting in Return to Moria, a full NFL sim with Madden 26, a cyberpunk shooter with Metal Eden, and a classic fighter with Tekken Dark Resurrection for premium. So honestly, this catalog drop covers a little bit of everything, which is great, except now, I gotta bounce, because the Breakroom PlayStation just started downloading half the catalog at once, the storage warning is blinking like it's about to file a complaint, and somebody already booted up Persona 5 Royale like they've got 100 free hours this week. But before I go, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe if you want more gaming drops and updates like this in the future. But I also gotta ask, what are you downloading first? Persona 5 Royale? Space Marine 2? Or are you about to start a 100-hour alien exploration on planets and ruin your sleep schedule? This is Scruffy the Jenner signing off. Peace out.